Hello, everyone. Good to see you. We'll get started in a couple of minutes once a few more people join. Okay, I think we're gonna get started. If anybody else comes, we can just let them in as they come. So it is 7:03 on the 23rd of April. We're gonna call this meeting to order. Let me change the slides. Okay, we're gonna start with our land acknowledgement from Daniel.
Hi, everybody. Just got to pull up my doc here. Perfect. During my time at Western University, I had the privilege of studying history, an experience that not only deepened my understanding of the past, but also opened my eyes to the enduring injustice faced by Indigenous nations. One of the first moments that truly shifted my perspective came when we studied the Huron Confederacy in a course titled Canada's Past, whose history, resilience, and continued resistance against colonial violence illuminated truths I had never fully grasped before. It was through learning their story that I first began to understand the depth of the harm caused by settler colonialism and the responsibility we carry today to acknowledge it, confront it, and work towards justice. At its height, the Huron Confederacy spanned a network of communities numbering in the tens of thousands, a testament to their vibrant community and culture. Yet, within a remarkably short span of time, their population was devastated by disease, conflict, and the sweeping impacts of colonial expansion. This loss is more than a historical footnote. It serves as a reminder of how quickly entire peoples can be displaced or diminished when their sovereignty and well-being are disregarded. As a history student here at Western, I have been taught how these processes of colonialism sought to erase Indigenous voices, including those of the Wyandot or Huron people. In recognizing my position as both a learner and a guest on this territory, I understand that my responsibilities extend beyond those words alone. I'm committed to continued education and to supporting Indigenous-led initiatives, making space for Indigenous laws and perspectives, and fostering respectful relationships between all those who call this land home. It is through this ongoing work that we truly honor the intent behind land acknowledgements. With that being said, we acknowledge that Western University is located on the traditional territories of the Anishinaabeg, Haudenosaunee, Lenape-Wauk, and Chinookan nations, on lands connected with the London Township of Sombre Treaties of 1796 and the Dish with One Spoon Covenant wampum. This land continues to be home to diverse Indigenous peoples, First Nations, Métis, and Inuit, whom we recognize as contemporary stewards of the land and vital contributors of our society. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Daniel. Oh my God, are you guys seeing this? It's time to restart my computer. No. Okay, not that again. Next we're gonna do the fight song. Hopefully it's gonna play. Let's see. You guys hear that? Let's just
No.
imagine, because I don't know how to do it. Dane, that's the fight song for tonight. That's enough of it, I think.
Science is more than welcome to jump in or just ceremoniously sing it in each of our heads.
Yeah. We totally all know the words, so we got it. Okay, next we are going to do roll calls. So that's the session ID. Head over to Echo 360 and record your attendance on there, please. Dane, are we good for numbers?
We're at 12 registrants.
12. Wake up, guys. Wake up.
The session ID isn't working for me.
That's mysterious.
It's because the one on the presentation is missing a 4 in between the fours. So the one in the agenda works.
Yeah,
Thank you.
54441 2.
Are we good now, Dane?
We're at 20. Need a few more.
Okay.
Okay, we're good.
All right. Thanks, guys. Next, we're going to move on to the approval of the agenda. So the agenda includes the following items. We're going to approve the minutes, then we're going to have comments from the chair, then we're going to move into our for action section, which is going to include the motion to approve exec reports, the motion to approve the USC food security policy recommendations, and the motion to approve the USC sustainability position paper. Before we move to approve the agenda, are there any questions regarding the agenda of this meeting? Are there any amendments or points of debate about the agenda? Okay, any objections to the agenda? All right. Can I get a mover for the agenda, please? Noah, Councillor Matsukawa, and a seconder, please. I will go with Councillor Gillette. All right, and then now let's move to Echo 360 to vote for the approval.
Just point of information, there's not going to be a board report today because we haven't had a meeting since the last council meeting. So just as an FYI.
Thank you. Okay, so the agenda has been approved. So now we're going to go on to the approval of the minutes. Can I get a mover and a seconder, please, for the minutes? Councillor Matsukawa can move again, and Councillor Saha can second. Thank you. Are there any questions regarding the minutes of the previous meeting? Are there any amendments to be made to the previous meeting minutes? Any objections? Okay, let's go back to Echo 360 and vote on that. Okay, the minutes have been approved. We will now move on to comments from the chair. Today, the chair is me. Mattine is not here, as you obviously noticed. So first, a thank you to everyone who came to the council gala back in April. It was great to hang out with everyone and have dinner and have the grilled cheese shots. It was really good. Also to any incoming councilors who are joining us today, welcome back or welcome for the first time if you're new. Just as a reminder, since the new council has yet to be ratified, speaking rights are reserved for current sitting councilors. So if you have something to say, you just have to wait until the questions and comments from the audience, or your speaking rights can be deferred to you. But just keep that in mind. And then as a final reminder, there's going to be no standing committee meetings in the next few weeks except for ACOSC. The last council responsibility will be the May 7th USC AGM, which is where we're going to de-ratify, re-ratify, do all of the end of the year stuff. So please make sure you've read all of the emails from Mattine and Dane with all the details about that. And that's all. So now we're going to move into presentations and we'll start with the exec reports. So President Kalichin, you can go ahead.
Okay, I am sitting outside in my balcony as I am moving in 3 or 4 days. So if it gets loud, please let me know. But yeah, ask me about traveling to Greece. So as I'm approaching my retirement, I decided to book a trip. So I'm really excited about that. So I'll be going there in May, which will be great. My top three highlights were for sure the President's Dinner. So something that the USC has started is getting when the new president gets elected. We typically head to Toronto for Pi Head every single year. So we kind of book the President's Dinner around that. So about the last 10 to 12 years, the presidents came together and we had dinner and kind of they got to know Kat really well. And I think it's just like a great way to really bolster our alumni community. I think as my number two, the last week of March was just epic. I think, like, I don't know, my execs can probably agree. We had grad ball, we had Loud Luxury, we had the golf tournament. It was just a slew of just amazing events. And I think we went really hard right to the end. So that was really exciting. And I'm super proud of my team for executing all of that. And then, of course, lastly, it was just this year's as a whole. I think it was just so amazing to get to know all of you. I've just had the most amazing time. And I think I'm just really humbled by the experience to have the opportunity to be in this role. It just, every month it got better and better. And I just want to say a huge thank you as I'm on my way out. As for updates, so the Human Rights-Based Motion Survey went out. The results of that survey will be posted most likely in the summer. I spoke to the authorship team, and one of the things we talked about is being able to carry the advocacy forward. So what they're going to do is present the results at the summer council with the new council team. The purpose of that, like I said, is just to keep the information moving forward into the next year. Anything that we sort of present, the council, as Kate mentioned, gets de-ratified. So it's just really important that we keep that up and we keep the conversation going, which I think was a really great collaborative decision made with myself, Jenna, who's incoming next year. So she doesn't really need an introduction, and we'll kind of go from there. The next is the Navitas committee. So we're continuously working as a committee. Currently, everything is because it's a regular Senate meeting is confidential. That said, we're doing a lot of consultations outside of that. So tomorrow, actually, there's an international student consultation session, which will be really amazing to hear directly from current international students about, what their needs are, how Western can support them. I think it's really important to know that the committee is not just focused on Navitas itself. It's just focused on international enrollment and options for international students, although Navitas is one of the options at the table. The next is lots of end of year events. That was, I think, between like Social Sci Gala, between King's Ball. We were really busy right till the very end of the school year. So congratulations to all the student groups who held such amazing, I guess, end of the year events for their groups. And then we created a USC Rec Club grant after some conversations with a couple of the rec clubs that exist within sport and rec. A lot of them are pretty underfunded. So we had a conversation and we're able to produce a grant with that. So they were awarded to the women's flag football team, who's actually headed to nationals, I think in Saskatchewan, and then the outdoors club and Western badminton team or club. And then I presented the budget yesterday to the Western Board of Governors, which went really well. I think the presentation was very clear. I don't know yet if it passed that board, but we should be fine. There wasn't too many questions. But that's good to know that the budget went through. And then for upcoming, we have the exec retreat, which is always an amazing time to get to know the incoming team and kind of pass on the ropes and whatever wisdom we have in some regard, but it'll be an amazing time. I'm really looking forward to it. We've been doing a lot of transition meetings, so I've been introducing, well, not that she needs much of an introduction, but I've been introducing Kat to a lot of our administration, which has been great, as well as some senior full-time staff at the USC. And then I guess the last thing, which I think it got cut off, but it's just retirement. I'm heading out May 16th. I'm out of London, which is sad, but it's like a bittersweet moment for sure. I've been here for 5 years, so I feel like it's time to pack it up. But again, just so appreciative for the year. I'm so grateful to have you guys all along this journey. It's been a great time. So thank you. Any questions? Cool.
Okay, thank you, President Collegian. And next we will hear from Vice President Batista.
Hi everyone. I will keep this super short. I'll start with my Ask Me About. This summer, I am going to Australia with my family, which is really exciting. My dad moved there when he went to school, so he learned English in Australia. And so we're going back and visiting where he kind of went to school and just famous places in general over there. So I'm excited to go there. For highlights, I had my final portfolio dinner recently. So with my coordinators and my AVP, so that was really nice to as a final send off. We also went to Pie Head, so that Michelle will probably talk about that a little bit in her report. But that was really nice, and it was also a great opportunity to bond with some of the incoming execs as well. And then transition retreat. It hasn't happened yet, but will be happening with the incoming and outgoing executive team. So I know I really bonded with the current executive team over that retreat. So I hope that the incoming team gets to have that same experience. In terms of updates, so we did a roundtable on April 15th, and this was an advocacy and academic roundtable. So I merged the two for our last one to talk about Navitas. So we had Jeff Hutter, who's the deputy provost, come to present about the updated Navitas, or give his updated Navitas presentation. And it was an opportunity for faculty, VPs, academics, and advocacy specifically, both incoming and outgoing, as well as student senators and any USC counselors with remaining questions to ask more about the updated Navitas presentation. Of course, since students are leaving for the summer, we just want to have as much information, concerns, questions, things like that, so that the incoming executive team can kind of use that to help them in their advocacy over the summer when students are away. And then we also have the sustainability paper and the food security recommendations coming to the council meeting today, which I'll talk a little bit about later. And then in terms of upcoming, we have more VPUA transition meetings. So I've been meeting a lot with Jenna, getting her familiar with the tasks that she'll be doing next year in the role. We've had meetings with Western administration as well. And I'm really trying to shift the transition this year to focus more on how to build off of the advocacy that's been done this year and in previous years, rather than just on how to do the job. So we really want our advocacy to be strong, and advocacy is something that's long term, of course. So I want to make sure that Jenna is equipped to work off of what has been done. And then exec retreat is upcoming as well. Very excited to bond with the incoming team. And then that's it, the end. That's all my updates for the year. Are there any questions?
Okay, thank you, Vice President Batista. Next, we'll hear from Vice President Watchus Johnson.
Hey guys. Can I get like one thumbs up react to make sure that people can hear me in this car? Okay, Daniel gave me a thumbs down. Everybody else gave me a thumbs up, so thank you so much. Hi, Omar. My ask me about is how excited I am to have Shreya back, because last month I put how sad I am to see Shreya go, and she came back to London this past weekend, and I feel like my life is complete and suddenly life is worth living again. So thank God. Top 3 highlights. Piehead, which Mari mentioned already, but Piehead it stands for the Partners in Higher Education Dinner, and it's a big like dinner gala that USA holds each year. And we invite like all of our sector partners, so the COU, eCampus, things like that. We also have the minister give a speech, we have a keynote, and we give an award to a professor from every school. We got to bring representatives from the affiliates, as well as some of the incoming team, as well as my whole team, and then some members of our admin as well, which was awesome. Had a great time. Felt like I was closing out my term as USC president a little bit. Have been loving welcoming the new team. Omar and I have had lots of bonding time in the last like 36 hours. / we got to be there to congratulate every single one of them when they were hired too, which was awesome. And then I didn't know how to sum up last week of March, but what Emily said about last week of March being awesome is true. Sarah, you did such a great job. Had so much fun at all the things. My updates, Pi had happened. It was lovely. Got to do some awesome networking. Sustainability paper is done and coming to council today. Where vote on campus obviously happened last week, so hopefully lots of you got to take advantage and vote for your home ridings, especially without having to leave. And then in terms of the Get Out the Vote campaign, we're still releasing some content throughout the next week or so. Slash, maybe some of you have gotten like the spoke bags or the spoke cups with the stickers on it. That'll take you to the Western Votes website. And then in terms of USA, we're working on, I did consultations with my entire steering committee, and we're working on drafting the operating policy for our general assemblies. And then we just had our SC transition yesterday, which is USA's board of directors. So all of the incoming board got to witness an outgoing board meeting. And then we had an alumni event, so they got the chance to network with some USA alumni as well. And then we're just kind of helping set things up now for the president elections over at USA, which will happen at the end of May. In terms of upcoming, I kind of went into most of these, but finishing out our Get Out the Vote campaign, we're doing some, as a result of PIHEAD, we got to set up some meetings with some staffers in the office of the Ministry of what is now Colleges, Universities, Research Security, and Excellence. So we're setting up those meetings, and we're just kind of trying to figure out like how we can better target our priorities for next year at USA to make sure that they're things the government might actually bite onto a little bit. And then just lots of transition. We are going through the like content of the job right now, and then later this week / next week, the two of us have meetings with a lot of city council, a couple different MPPs, as well as Mayor Morgan. And I'm so excited for Omar to meet all the characters. That's all. MWJ out.
Thank you, Vice President Watchers Johnson. Next, we'll hear from Vice President Fullerton.
Hey guys, sorry for my camera being off for most of the meeting today. I have very bad Wi-Fi, so I'm trying to preserve where I can. It's very short for me as well today. Top 3 highlights: grad ball, loud luxury, and meeting the new exec team. My updates are just that Purple Finale happened. We brought loud luxury and it was really awesome. We had lots of upper year students coming and telling Emily how amazing it was to bring back an artist that they started their university experience with and then ended on the same note. So that was really lovely to hear. And then grad ball, which was something that I was very passionate about, of giving a lot of the graduating students who didn't have a prom in high school because of COVID that experience back. So that was also very successful. Very happy with how that went. The Mustang Lounge was truly transformed. So our productions team absolutely killed it. And then upcoming transition and OWEEK 2025. If you think that this role really ever pauses, that would be incorrect. We have already started plans on OWEEK 2025, which is pretty perfect, honestly, for the transition for Reagan, because we're kind of doing the work together. And it's really nice to be able to like show her what the work is tangibly, and then she just takes it over right on. So yeah, I'm very excited for Reagan and everything that the new team will do. And I'm very proud of everything that my team has accomplished this year. That's it for me. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Vice President Fullerton. And now we'll hear from Vice President Clapper.
Hello, everybody. Jump into the highlights here. Oh, actually, sorry, ask me about, I actually put one this time. My favorite weather app. I got really familiar with like different weather apps over the last couple of months. And as my team knows, I'm like very into checking the radar. So if you ever want to know if it's going to rain, swing by my office and I'm happy to show you the radar. Top 3 highlights. USC Open was the golf tournament that we ran. Super successful. Part of the reason why I was checking the weather so much, it rained like 2 weeks before straight and snowed, and then it rained and snowed for 2 weeks after. But on the day of the tournament, we got 7 hours of sun. It was nice. Everyone was in t-shirts. We raised a bunch of money and everyone had a good time. So it's all you can really ask for. Grad ball was awesome. Shout out to Sarah. My friends from home came up. Everyone had a great time. It was really kind of like the final send off. And then the snow melting outside was really great. It's great to see the grass, the sun, feels nice. My updates here. Hold on. I have to minimize all of your faces so I can see my stuff. Cool. Wrapping up the services for the end of the year. So grocery shuttle is finished now. So we're collecting all of the usage data on that. Food support will be closing soon. Grants have closed and the peer support center is now officially closed for the year as well. So we are kind of just wrapping up the reports, talking with my coordinators, figuring out what worked, what didn't, what we're going to do for next year, and then helping Wade kind of make some decisions and train him a little bit on what to interpret from those results, I guess. Finished the last events of the year, obviously USC Open and Pride Ball. Those were two successful events from the student services portfolio, but now the coordinators are all done. Very sad, but they had a great year, got lots done. Relay for Life smashed a record. Last year they raised 43,000. This year they raised $107,000, which is a Relay for Life record, not only for Western, but I believe for all of Canada as well. I hopped on a call with the people from the Canadian Cancer Society, and they were absolutely astonished. So that's thanks to a lot of you guys. I saw some familiar faces as well. The soft teams really showed up. And because of you guys, we were able to donate almost $108,000 to the Canadian Cancer Society, which is incredible. So finally, Reach is the last thing of the year. So that happens on May 16th. So that will be the very last thing I do. Very excited for that. And then obviously transition is happening. So transition with Wade is going pretty good. Then final report will be due, and I'll send that off to him, and they'll run it back next year. It'll be a good time. So thank you, everybody, and I'll pass it off now.
Thank you, Vice President Clapper. And finally, we'll hear from Vice President Menon.
Okay, hey everyone. Sorry to spoil, I don't have a lot of updates because I was on medical leave until like today. Today was my first day back in the office, which was interesting. But yeah, I'm back. So my ask me about is how to get through knee surgery. It is not fun, but I have plenty of advice now in case anyone ever needs to know. Okay, my highlights are I had a final portfolio dinner, which was really great. Worked really well with them this year, so it was great to like have like a final celebration with them. Transitioning sod, it's been really fun. Even though I haven't been in person, we've just like been FaceTiming and Zoom calling a lot. And it's been really great to like get to know him, get to know his goals for next year, and then work on the stuff we built this year to transition. So that's been great. And three has been collecting information for the end of year wrap up. I'm going to talk a little bit more about this in my update, but I've been doing a lot of just like going through like highlights of the year and like picking out like what we want to feature. And it's been really cool to kind of just be like, oh, the year is done, and here's all the amazing stuff that like full huge program that we've done, but also like a lot of like the coordinators and portfolios that not don't get to like get showcased a lot of the times, but get to see all the amazing work they've done. So that's been really cool. Okay, in terms of updates, USC Voice. So we put out Voices, the last edition that of the year, of just featuring a lot of stories from you guys. So thank you so much to everyone who submitted. They were amazing, great stories. And we had like a little launch party at the community room like last week, I think, and it went really well. So again, congratulations to everyone who put them all out. Your stories will be featured on LinkedIn and get posted on Instagram to link to the stories pretty soon. So yeah, we just want to make sure that everyone gets to see the great work that you are doing. Get out the vote has been something that I've been a part of with Michelle. Just figure out like how we can get my coordinators have been working to get just general students to put the election date in their calendar, just so people are aware of like this is the date, this is how you vote, where to vote, all that kind of information. So my team has been working on just getting the date out to people. And transition is another update. It's been a lot of work, but it's been really good. Last final things for upcoming is, like I mentioned, so that end of the year wrap up. So we're planning on doing a big thing on social media, just featuring a lot of the stuff that the coordinators and stuff have been working on, and our portfolios as well, but mainly featuring some of the stuff that don't usually get highlighted on the Instagram because they're just as valid and just as important to the USC. And some final transition meetings. I've just been doing some all of our stakeholder meetings, so SOD meeting, some of the people that I've worked with throughout the year. Now we've done all the foundational stuff, so now it's just like, okay, you know all the foundations, time to go meet the people that you're working with. That's it for me.
Okay, thank you, Vice President Menon. We are now going to move into our 4 action section. So our first motion is the motion to approve the executive reports. The motion reads, oh, I gotta move your little faces. The motion reads, be it resolved that council accept the executive reports for April 2025. Can I get a seconder for the motion, please? Councillor Sharma? Are there any questions regarding the motion? Are there any points of debate or amendments? Are there any objections? Okay, let's go to Echo 360 to vote, please. We're just waiting on 3 more votes. If the last 3 people can vote, we can move on to our next motion. Okay, we're going to move on to our second motion, which is the motion to approve the USC food security policy recommendations. The motion reads, whereas food insecurity continues to impact the physical, mental, and academic well-being of students, whereas the USC passed a food insecurity stance in 2024 that now requires actionable policy recommendations, whereas the USC must take a leadership role in advocating for equitable and sustainable food access on campus, be it resolved that Council approve the food security policy recommendations to be updated as new data emerges. So we have President Collegian as the mover. Can I get a seconder on this one? We'll go with Councillor Bennett. Do either of you want to speak to the motion?
I'm gonna pass it off to Mari as she's the one that put a ton of work into this, so I'll just give her my speaking rights. That's okay.
Yep.
All right, so this is one thing I'm very excited for to have worked on this year. The policy recommendations, there are still a few like minor changes to be made, like citing and just final grammar edits before it's sent off to be made to look a little bit more visually appealing through our creative team. But in terms of the policy recommendations, so these are it's not a policy paper. So these policy papers are typically commissioned by council in the fall, and they are a lot more lengthier than what you see for the food security policy recommendations. So the purpose of this document is to be kind of added onto with new recommendations, either through interim recommendations or eventually when there is enough data to commission a policy paper from it. But it's basically so that the USC has some actionable things to kind of work off of in regards to advocacy around food security in the next few years. Of course, this is the first year that the USC did our food security survey, so it's still a very new topic at the USC, but we want to have at least a couple of things that next year's team can work off of until more data is collected. So that's why it's shorter than what you may have seen through our position papers. But if anyone has any questions, I'd love to answer them.
Okay, I'll put it to council. If there's any questions regarding the motion, can ask them now. Are there any points of debate or amendments to be made to the motion? Do we have any objections? Okay, then we'll go to Echo 360 to vote. Please, everybody, make sure you vote. We're just waiting for the last 2 people to vote. Okay, the motion passes. We'll now move on to our final motion, motion number 3. This is the motion to approve the USC sustainability position paper. This motion reads, whereas environmental sustainability affects the entire Western community, whereas the USC's previous sustainability policy is outdated and needs revision, whereas updated recommendations must inform our advocacy with Western University and governmental bodies, be it resolved that Council pass the sustainability position paper. So the mover is President Collegian, and can I get a seconder, please? We'll go Councillor Matsukawa. Do either of you want to speak to the motion?
If it's okay, I'll just give a little bit of some context to this. I know with our previous position papers, you're probably already familiar with what this position paper kind of is structured like. So, of course, it's different from the policy recommendations that I was talking about. This one is more lengthy, but it's going to be, our position papers are renewed every 3 years. So it gives the next couple of executive teams things to work off of in their advocacy on climate and sustainability. So especially with the climate and sustainability strategic plan that Western is working on right now, this position paper has recommendations that we would like to see kind of included from a student priority. So some of those include waste management, including lab waste and hard to recycle items, transportation, as well as AI. So sustainability implications around those 3 things. But again, if there are any questions, I can answer them.
If there are any questions, you can ask them now. If there are any points of debates or amendments to be made, this will be the time to raise them. Are there any objections to the motion? Okay, we'll now move to Echo 360 to vote. Okay, the motion has passed. At this time, we'll invite any questions or comments from the Western community. If anybody has anything that they would like to bring up, feel free to raise your hand. Okay, are there any points of new business that anyone would like to introduce? Okay, in that case, we'll see you at the AGM on May 7th on Zoom. Can I get a mover and a seconder to terminate the meeting? Let's go with Councillor Paresis and Councillor Lee. All right, and all those in favor, raise your hand to terminate the meeting. Is anyone opposed? Okay, I think we're good. It is 7:47 and the meeting is terminated. We will see you at the AGM. Have a good night, everybody.
Bye, everyone. Good luck on the rest of your exams.
Bye. Good luck.
See ya.